Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our June Statewide Chronic Disease Self-Management Program Collaborative Meeting. And this is Lindsay McIntosh, and I'm here at COA, and I am sitting with Cheryl Wakefield, who is already taking notes like crazy, and Joni Saunders, who is not taking notes yet, but will be shortly and is about to drink coffee. So let's see who else is on the call. Looks like I'm looking at my list. Crystal, are you there?
Yes, I am here. And Eve from my office will probably be joining us shortly. So.
Okay, great, welcome.
Thanks.
And Glenda? Glenda Mitchell, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Great, welcome, Glenda.
Thank you.
Glenda's with the Center for African American Health. And Lindsay? Other Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am. I am here. It's good to hear your voice.
Good, nice to hear you too. And Lindsay is with the Central Colorado AHEC. And Lucy, do I see you there too?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. And Lucy is with the Colorado Neurological Institute. And Flora?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's a little low volume, but I can definitely hear you.
Okay, I'll turn up. Thank you.
And Flora is with CDPHE. And Rebecca.
Hi, I'm here, Lindsay.
Hi, Rebecca. Rebecca is with Kaiser Permanente. And Sue?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning, Sue. Sue is with Hilltop out in Grand Junction. And Connie?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Connie's with our state unit on aging. And anyone else that we missed that I don't have on my little screen?
Tanika Schiff with the Center for African American Health.
I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Tanika Schiff.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Well, welcome. We will move through our agenda here, and it's a pretty calm month. So unless we have questions from you all, we may actually have a fairly short meeting, which would not be a bad thing on a Friday. First of all, just a little explanation that what we do here is about all of us sharing best practices and opportunities and training opportunities and fidelity opportunities. And we also have a couple of grant-related projects that are underway. So we spend some time talking about the grant-related projects, but just to keep everyone remembering that it's about whatever we're going to do next as well as what we're working on at the moment. So hopefully we'll have some time to talk about reigniting some of the projects we have started in the past with like our regional care collaborative organizations. So that is, now I'm going to see if I can get my computer to be, okay, there we go. So that's my update. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, though, and I'm going to mention it a couple of times, is this afternoon from 4 till 7 p.m. at the Sheridan West, which is the one out on Union Boulevard in Lakewood. We are hosting a wine and cheese reception as a kickoff to the workshop we're doing this weekend. And this is the one that Monica Wolf attended last year. And what we're doing is showing a series of videos that we've produced around the work that we're doing within patient-centered medical homes. And it's free. You are all welcome. It's a wine and cheese reception. We'll have a couple of folks there that you may want to say hi to, including Albert Terillian from the National Council on Aging and Mary Brick from Center for Disease Control's National Association of Chronic Disease Directors. So please, if you don't have anything to do this afternoon, know you are invited. We would love to see you there. So that is my commercial for that. If you need directions or any other information, just give us a call later. And I'm going to turn it over to Connie and Lindsay now for just some updates on where we are with one of our current projects, which is year 2 of the grant that Connie received for the AOA and from the AOA. And then I'm going to let them give us the update on how we're doing with reimbursements and numbers and year 2 and year 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So ladies, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, this is Connie. Thanks, Lindsay. I don't have a lot to share this time. I think I mentioned last time that we had gotten an informal notice of funding for year 3 and had been asked to submit a budget, which I have done, and haven't heard back on approval on that yet. But I imagine it will be. It's approximately the same amount of funding for this year, so I can go over that once it's actually approved. And then the other thing was just that I'm working on the identifying our needs for the sustainability consultant, as I've mentioned before, and also, as I've mentioned before, that because our contracting and billing and payment system is all changing statewide, I will need to get that going after the 1st of July, which is our new fiscal year. So for our joint in-person meeting that I mentioned before, I had funding to pay for mileage for the grant participants to come into Denver for that. I'm hoping that we can do that in August. That's my plan. And after Lindsay gives her update, if there are any questions for me, that would be great.
I have one question. Connie, it sounds like you have a cold. Are you feeling bad?
Oh, no, it's probably just allergies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
He's coughing with you in sympathy on this end, so.
Yes. That time of year.
Yep. Okay, Lindsay?
So I have some fantastic news. Of our 300 original completers, by August 31st, we have broke the halfway barrier. We actually are at 168 reimbursed.
Yay!
And that is fantastic. And that's actually payment out the door. So I know there's some more. I've been talking to some organizations who are collecting their data, getting their data to Lori Scott at CDPHE. So I know there's more completers out there. I know that COA has a lot of classes going on right now. So I know that there's more, but that's the actual. We paid 168 as of yesterday. So that is fantastic. Thank you to all of you. You guys are really doing wonderful.
Yay.
And then those of you that, sorry, go ahead. We should cheer for each other. Because it's a lot of work, I know, on your end to get all those classes done and to get all the data to the correct places. I know it's a lot of work. So thank you to all of you for doing that. As Connie had mentioned on the last call, there was some carryover funding, and I have signed revised MOUs with those that expressed interest in that carryover funding. So if there's anyone else that has some interest in that carryover funding, let me know. But I know that some of you have actually completed your original numbers for this grant cycle. Again, the grant cycle ends August 31st, and are already working on getting some completers that are going to help send down that carryover funding. So that's also very exciting. So I know that we are on the ball and really rolling this summer. I'm very excited about meeting numbers. So if anyone is having any questions, any concerns, please let me know. But thank you.
Lindsay, will you explain to people who may not be familiar with when you say the carryover funds, that this is the reimbursement that some of us have already been working with, and what that number looks like and what they would need to do to work with you?
Sure, absolutely. So anytime we receive funding through Connie at the State Unit on Aging, in order to get reimbursement, your class completers must go to at least 4 out of the 6 classes in the series. That's the first requirement. They need to be over the age of 60 or over the age of 18 with a Medicaid. And once they satisfy those requirements, if you sign an MOU with us, we will reimburse you $150 per participant completer. There's new in the second grant year is that according to NCOA, all people, lay leaders, master trainers, people that deal with data, have to watch a HIPAA webinar, and then they submit those quiz answers to myself, and then they have to sign a non-disclosure form stating they understand the HIPAA rules and regulations and will abide by them. So those are two new things the second grant year, and that's been something that has slowed us down a little bit in the reimbursement because we have to make sure all that's completed before we send the check out the door. And then there's standard data forms that the collaborative has produced, and those data forms collect information that goes to CDPHE and is entered into our statewide database. So we're doing an awesome job of collecting data throughout the state to really present a picture of what the series, the CDSME series, look like across the state. That picture hopefully will help us get more funding in year 3 of the grant, but after this grant is complete, it is my hope that we can use that data to really go after other grants to sustain what we're doing across the state as organizations as well as the CDSMP collaborative. So all those components kind of come together. You sign an MOU with me, and then I can reimburse you that per participant completer rate. Some people, we didn't know how much funding exactly we would get this second year. It had been cut. So we signed original MOUs. And then Connie was able to work really hard for us and get us some additional funding. So some people spent down their original funding for year 2 and then requested some additional funding, and now they're working on spending down that additional funding. Does that help, Lindsay? Is that kind of what you
That is perfect. That is perfect.
Thanks for that explanation, Lindsay. Can you or Connie clarify, so what is the year we're operating on? I know we got the year 2 funding late, and so I'm confused as to the end of this year 2 and when the carryover funding has to be used.
Good question, and I know it has been really confusing. Year 2 actually started September 1st of 2013 and goes to August 31st of 2014. Okay. However, those of you that have kind of been in this process know that we didn't actually get that funding until mid-December. So we kind of got a late start. It is our hope that that will not be the same for year 3. We'll be able to start really close to September 1st, because I know we missed some completers there in the fall, and we do apologize about that. We're going to try to do better in year 3. So the carryover funding we received middle of April, and it goes from middle of April, and it has to be spent again by August 31st, 2014, so the end of year 2 grant. So those of you that are really doing a lot of summer series might really benefit from some of that carryover funding.
Okay. So both year 1 carryover and year 2, just regular, has to be spent by August 31st.
Correct. And then we'll start year 3 funding September 1st, 2014 to August 31st, 2015. And it is a true hope that we actually will get 12 months to spend that down.
Okay.
And this is Connie. If I, oops, sorry. I think I interrupted. Was that Lindsay? You were finishing something. I thought you were.
Oh, no, I'm done, unless someone else has any other questions.
Maybe I could chime in and then see if there are questions, just to clarify that it is confusing, just as Flora and Lindsay both said, and basically it's all kind of in the same timeline now. And the carryover was another 130 completers, so we still have a ways to go. And as Lindsay said, just that if people are interested in and able to have more completers this summer, you'll please get with Lindsay Blackwelder as soon as possible, because you can't do the MOU revision after you've already done the class. You have to figure out ahead of time and try to commit to what you think you can do before those classes are provided in order to get reimbursed. It's not an after-the-fact kind of thing. And as far as starting September 1, most of that depends on things that happen here at the state level, which involve us getting, although I was really happy to get the email from the Administration on Aging on our, requesting a budget for a certain amount. Until I get the official notice of award from them, I can't do contracts here. And I can't start that until I get approval for the budget. So there's a couple things that need to happen here, and then we do have that glitch that I hope won't be too insurmountable or won't delay things too much. But as I mentioned before, we're statewide starting this whole new contracting software system that I'm sure will have some glitches and things that need to be figured out along the way, so it won't be quite as, it won't be the normal process that everyone's used to. So we'll do our best to work through all of that and hopefully have things in place as close to the 1st of September as possible, but I can't promise anything at this point other than we will do our best for all the reasons that Lindsay just mentioned and to help all of you, because as Lindsay and I have talked about, if there's a way, because we need to identify those numbers ahead of time, the more time obviously all of you have to fulfill those numbers, then the better off we all are. But some things are out of my control as they were last year, and so we'll do the best we can.
Connie, this is Lucy Dreyer at Colorado Neurological Institute.
Yeah, hi Lucy.
Hi. Just to clarify about the, putting in for some of the extra numbers. I get that you're saying you can't do it after the class is done. We're tentatively going to be starting a class in early July, but we do want to see how many registrations we have, and I do have some numbers left yet to meet. It's just a question of will we have more so that I could put in for some more. Is it okay to wait and see how many are registered or come for the first class, or do you want us to make our best guess even before that as to whether or not we want to ask for some additional?
Well, from my perspective, I would think it'd be okay to shoot a little higher. It's tough to make everything, the numbers come in exact, and Lindsay works really hard at doing that. But if you undershoot and then have more, then that creates a problem as far as what I've been told by our contracting section. Okay. But if you, and I guess the other factor is how quickly Lindsay and you can get the paperwork in place from your level. But July still gives you almost 8 weeks, or maybe it is about 8 weeks to do everything. So again, from my perspective, it's okay to overshoot, and then I guess the other part of that would depend on what works for Lindsay, and trying to get, and Lindsay can chime in on how that works for her calculations and processing. Lindsay, do you have some thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've been trying to do, Lucy, is kind of build in a little bit of cushion for those that have met or are really close to meeting their original numbers and have additional series this summer. The reason we're building in a little bit of cushion is because we can't back pay. So if you think you're going to have 12, let's make sure that you have, sorry, someone's quite noisy right now. If you think you're going to have an additional 12 completers and you only have funding left for 6, let's definitely get you an MOU addendum signed before your series even starts for that 6. If you reach it, awesome, we're good to go. If you don't reach it, it's okay, because we have some organizations that are definitely going to have a lot of numbers coming in. And you can just roll that funding to them. Okay, I'll send you something then, because I just wasn't quite sure how to do that. Yep, so just send me an email and we'll actually get it done as soon as possible. Okay, thanks.
Lindsay, this is Sue from Grant Junction. I don't think we are going to reach our numbers, and so my question is, can you use those dollars for somebody else this year? Can we release them back to you?
Absolutely, and it's very awesome that you're letting me know that. Thank you. So you and I can email or set up a phone time and figure out where you're at, and then we can absolutely roll those numbers to other organizations who are just really rocking and rolling this summer.
Perfect. We're getting a count from our leaders right now, and we should be able to have some tentative numbers. We'll build in what we think.
Whoops, you still there? Everybody there? I think you just switched to telephone. Okay, but we're not. I should be here. It's trying to reconnect me. Go ahead and try calling again, and then I will put it up. When you come back, tell me, and then put it on speaker here, and I'll click over there. Hello, everybody.
By the July call.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Connie, and I you know, there's if we I hate to say too much about carryover because we're never sure that we could get approval for further carryover, but that, you know, is something we can look at in July if it looks like we're really going to be, despite all the great work that Lindsay is doing and everybody else is doing to try to meet the numbers, if it looks like we can't meet them, we could request carryover for some of those. But again, it's not a guarantee. And I got a message that disappeared, that the moderator was no longer on the call and it was going to disconnect in 5 minutes, and now I'm hearing beeping, so I hope.
Yeah, no, we're fine.
Back on.
We
Okay,
lost our internet connection for the. I could hear you guys, but you couldn't hear me. But we're back on, so
okay.
all is well. We're trying to figure it out, so we hopefully we'll get better sound in just a minute.
But
there are 9 other callers on the call.
We have audio that's maybe a little better now, so hopefully you can hear us a little better and we can hear you a little better. Well, thank you for the conversation, and I know that the plan is to get as many numbers as we can and to cross our fingers that all the paperwork goes smoothly. And I know that it depends totally on what comes down from Washington and how much time that takes, and then, you know, how the new system is working at the state. So I think it's really worth saying again that when everybody's planning for their classes in the fall, wait to start classes if you're planning on getting them reimbursed from year 3. Make sure you don't start classes before we have a contract in play, and that will help us avoid lots of confusion and angst.
right, and contract not only from the state, you know, from my level to AHEC, but at AHEC to the license holder. So until you have your paperwork in place.
So I think don't plan on September 1st until we have it in place. Because we were December this year and January the first year, and so so September is a good goal, but the odds of it all being finalized by then are not great, I would say. Is that fair, Connie?
Well, you know, I'm sure going to try, but
yeah.
I mean, there's the, you know, we also have the clearance process here, which sometimes can take a while. So I wouldn't want people to get their hopes up that it would happen by then. So yeah, I think your advice is good, and we will certainly try to get as close to that as we can, because I know if it, you know, as everybody has said, if it's delayed too much, then you can't do fall classes, which is about half of the time frame out.
Yeah, and I know so much of it isn't under your control, and so so I know we'll all do our best. So thanks. So I have one more question. I apologize since I dropped off accidentally. I didn't drop off. Go to meeting dropped off. But Lindsay, where are we? How does this compare to where we were last year? Are we behind, ahead, even, or do you know?
Yeah, we're actually better than last
Yay!
Yay. And I'm especially thrilled because we were kind of scrambling in August to fill in people like COA that had extra numbers. We were trying to get MOUs signed with you guys to kind of pick up some numbers that other organizations couldn't fill. And that was happening in, middle of August last year. This year, some organizations have met their numbers and are already starting to work on carryover funding. So we are definitely doing better, and that is a sign that we were able to get started earlier. So if we can get started even earlier on year 3, I just think it will go very, very smoothly. But we are definitely sitting better than we were last year.
Great. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Perfect. Now I'm going to see if I can actually make the screen move forward. Maybe. There we go. So I owe you an update now. Was there anything else we wanted to say before I move on? Anything else on the AOA?
I don't have any. Sorry, okay. I don't have.
Okay, sorry. I'm having technological challenges this morning for some reason. So I owe you an update, all of you, on the website numbers from Self-Management Colorado. And I apologize, I don't have a good update for you. What I can tell you is we have a couple of things that have happened that are good news. And I promise you for next month I'll have a real good active update on following up some of the leads we've received in prior months that we're still working to get into classes. For example, we know that we had 6 people that we were able to put into an A.F. Williams class. We know that we had a very low number of completers, about 50% completers in that class, but we have started a second class with A.F. Williams, which has gone much better. And we have, and I don't have completer numbers, but I do know that we've started with a really good number, high number in the class, and they're having much better luck with retention this time. And so I'll be able to report on that next time. So I think we really have gotten the referral system working well there, and so I will give you final numbers on that. The other update I have for work that came out of our collaborative ventures is that we did train from Colorado Health Access Physician Health Partners. We did a training for them. 14 of their staff went through the Chronic Disease Self-Management Leader Program training, with the goal being to establish a referral system and chronic disease classes at each of their sites. And then they will also be working with us because they are very aware that as they scale up the number of referrals they're going to be generating, not everyone will be able to attend the classes at the clinic sites. So they are going to be working very closely with us, us meaning the collaborative, on getting folks into classes that meet their needs. So for example, they may host a class that meets at their offices downtown, and it meets on a Wednesday night, but they have patients that need a Tuesday class in the day. So we will help them get into a class when available. So we're still going to be working with referrals, but we'll also be helping them to embed their own program and get more of their patients involved. So that's pretty good news. So that is my, but I apologize, I don't have any good numbers for you. So we will, we'll do that next month. The other thing that is happening from a collaborative point of view, and maybe Connie, you can talk about this a little bit, is we have the training coming up next week with Denver Regional Council of Governments, which is another opportunity for us to, as a collaborative, to really see some good referrals coming out of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. This was a plan that the training that we did in Grand Junction, as well as with Dr. Cog, were put in that grant proposal by Leanna Konetsky, couple years ago, year and a half ago, and the idea is to try to get the area agencies on aging that are interested and that at one time had a community care transitions program pilot project funded by CMS in place, and Grand Junction and Denver both had those. We've broadened it out a bit to focus on really all of their clients that would be appropriate, whether they're transitioning from hospital to home or just need classes in general, or need classes in order to remain at home, et cetera. So at Dr. Cog, it seems like they're really going to try to get as many of their staff there as possible, and that we're focusing on trying to showcase all of what CDSMP can do for their clients. So it'll be interesting, and they've been very receptive to the idea and enthusiastic about it. So hopefully we'll have some good results to report back about next time. And maybe Sue, I thought our presentation Grand Junction went well. We got good feedback, and I don't know if Sue could comment on any follow-up or that she's been involved with in Grand Junction since that meeting.
Sure. We had, I think, 14 individuals that showed up, mostly through healthcare facilities that were there. I think I have 4 individuals out of there that are interested in being leaders. So, but generally there was just an overwhelming response, a favorable response to the presentation and the good work that can be done through the program. So I think it has raised the energy, and one of our goals was to just really get more information out about the project, and I definitely think that it has done that for us.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, and much thanks to Lindsay and Connie both for coming out and braving the detour. Since Interstate I-70 was closed for 8 or 10 hours or something like that day. So I was quite glad they both made it over the mountain, as we say.
It was a beautiful drive. It was definitely the scenic route.
It definitely.
For those of you who have never been to Grand Junction through Craig, let me say, it was beautiful. It was the scenic way. Well, I think that what will happen, I know that you will be working with all of the folks on the western slope, Sue, but I think what will happen with Dr. Cog is that as they are referring folks and we start to see how many numbers and where they need classes, and we'll be able to really start working with some of our partners, at least throughout the metro area, for the areas that Dr. Cog serves, to help them get their folks into classes and maybe establish additional classes if need be. And so this could be just a really great way for us to showcase the way we can all work together. So it's very exciting. Well, I wanted to, that is the whole update I have on the centralized referral system and what's happening with those collaborative things. Anybody have any questions or comments before we move on?
I just want to say thank you so much, Lindsay, for doing that. I know we've been able to send some referrals to you, and it's been awesome to be able to plug those people into classes. So thanks for all the work you've done, and I think, honestly, it will just continue to grow and strengthen. I know that we're still kind of in a trial period, so thank you.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. Yeah, and it's very, I will say that it is very rewarding to work with some of the folks that are new to the health system, particularly those folks that are coming in through the new Medicaid enrollment process and who have not had necessarily a real favorable relationship with healthcare. You know, healthcare was go to an emergency room when you had to, and so we're having a lot of fun working with different regional care collaboratives and also working with those individual clients as they get into classes and start to realize that they too can make small changes and feel better. So it's really been very rewarding. So we've been enjoying it greatly. So thank you for saying that. Well, I know that Flora's on the phone, and I know she wants to talk with us about data because it's a very important thing. Data equals money. So Flora, do you have any updates for us, or tell us how it's going?
I don't have many updates at all, but it is going pretty well. I would just like to remind everyone, I know Lori's been getting some forms that are a little from workshops that were back in like fall or winter of last year, and we had transitioned to the new data forms, I believe sometime maybe late October. So maybe those forms just, people haven't transitioned to those forms at that point, but just to remind everyone to try to use the approved forms. And there were some edits made to them because NCOA decided some other things need to be collected, but yeah, that's just the reminder I have, is to use the current form.
Can I ask one quick question, Flora? This is Lindsay from AHEC.
Sure.
I know that it got really confusing in the fall regarding which forms to use.
Right.
So if an organization is perhaps not using the most recent forms, is Lori giving them some feedback on that so that they know to use the new forms?
No, I don't think she is.
Okay.
So
what might be easiest is she can send me an email regarding who might not be using the newest forms. I'll then cycle back with that organization and make sure that I get the new forms to them and do some of that follow-up, because I know that that was a very confusing component around September, October, because we were working with, remember, those scripts that they might have to read at the beginning to get the participants to sign. So I know that
consent form and stuff.
Yeah, if she could just send me an email and let me know who is not using the most current forms, I will then follow up with those organizations and we'll get that fixed.
Okay, that sounds good.
I know just from our perspective, we've had organizations that were still using up the old forms. And so we've been, as a license holder, one of the groups that had some stuff come in on the old forms. And usually what we found is it's the organizations that we work with that don't do a lot of classes. And so they're trying to use up old materials and
okay.
Yeah, but that's not a great excuse. It's just sort of an explanation. So, but I think I agree with you, Lindsay. I think that'd be real helpful for Laura and Flora to let us know if there's people we need to reach out to.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Let's see. Wanted to just do some updates on some trainings. I don't believe Monica is on the phone with us today. Are you, Monica? Did you join us? No. Okay. I know Monica just completed a training a couple of weeks back in the chronic disease self-management program and then a cross-training in diabetes. And training went real well. She had folks from a number of different license holders, and training went well, and she is planning to hopefully do another training sometime in late summer. In terms of the training updates that I have, I'll run through these, and then please chime in if there's others that we don't have on here. So I've already invited you to the wine and cheese reception virtual site visit, so you know about that. And then we're doing the workshop this weekend, and we have people coming in from New Mexico, Texas, New York, and other places I have forgotten. So it'll be an interesting group. And then I do know we're going to be doing a chronic disease self-management training June 9th through 12th, and that is in Lakewood. We do have some spots available, so if you have anybody, know anybody that is that you want to get into that class, this is probably the last one we will do until the fall. So that is again in the metro area. And then I pasted this in, and this is from our friends at Secahec. So you guys can help me understand if I can't read my own screen here. But you guys are doing the a 2-day self-management, diabetes self-management program for the folks that have already gone through CDSMP, and that one is June 26th and 27th.
Yeah, Lindsay, this
Yes.
is Crystal at Secahec. We've actually modified the June training. We're going to do the full CDSMP, DSMP. It'll be June 23rd through the 27th.
Okay.
And then August one, we still have that down. We want to see the numbers. And for the 5 to do the CDSMP, DSMP both, it'll be $299. And then for a 2-day crossover training, it is $99. So we're offering both that week.
So give us the dates again for the June, the 5 days in June.
It's June 23rd through the 27th.
Okay.
And then if somebody just needs the 2-day crossover training, it'll be the 26th in the afternoon and the 27th.
Okay. Great.
So
those are both in Pueblo.
They are, and the location is correct. They're at the Latino Chamber of Commerce. And we do still have spots open for that. So,
great.
Is this write-up available somewhere? I just am thinking about the Southwestern partners. They're just getting started, but I think they want to train up some more people, so I like to give them options that come up down in that area.
Flora, it's on our website, which is Secahec.
On Secahec's website?
Yeah, secahec.org.
Okay.
And then we can also contact the folks. Who are you working with in Southwestern?
Jamie?
Jamie at Southwestern AHEC, or?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to let her know, then I can also follow up with her sometime next week just to give her the heads up.
Okay. I'll let him know.
And there is a registration form on our site that folks can fill out and send in to us.
Okay. What we can do is
site. Could you spell out that site?
Yeah, it is SECAHEC.org.
Thank you. And then my other question was, I am trying to get familiar with all of this. The lady lacrosse training, what is that 2-day, the audience?
So if somebody is already trained as a chronic disease leader, the 2-day cross training allows them to be trained as a diabetes leader.
Okay.
But they must already be a chronic disease lay leader.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we can also put a link on the minutes, so we can definitely get that that word out. And if you want to send me a little blurb or an email with the dates and contact information, like a revised version of this as an email, I can definitely send that out to everybody too.
Okay, we will get that sent to you, Lindsay.
Okay, good. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So are there any other trainings coming up that we don't have listed that I can add? Here's what I know is hopefully coming up. So I know Hilltop Sue is going to be doing a training at some point.
Yeah, and it should be, sorry, it should be in July is what I'm hoping for at this point. I'm trying to confirm some of my participants, and I will, Lindsay, I'll let you know as soon as I have that date secured.
Okay.
Okay,
and
thanks.
Are you doing, is the plan to do a 4-day diabetes training? Or to do
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure I can do the DSMP. I'm not sure I can get both in and get the enough participants for that. I actually have an interest possibly in sending some of my folks over to Pueblo.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Sue, and this is Connie. Do you have their trainers set up yet? Or?
No, I don't. So I'm still trying to, it's kind of that which comes first, the egg or the chicken, to figure out when participants are available and then set up the training with the trainers. So.
Do you have a list of possible people, or are you still looking for names?
Absolutely. And some of you may be on the phone. I know that I've had 4 or 5 people respond to your request to go out, so I intend to follow up with them.
Okay, great.
Great, thank you.
And I know, Sue, we also talked about the possibility of diabetes classes, and I know that's still in the mix too, and that you have some possible leads on leaders for that as well.
Right, right.
And Connie, yeah.
That I should be, if we use leaders, since we don't have any diabetes leaders here, if we use, somebody will come in from outside of the Grand Junction area, that should work well to be able to do that.
Cool. Thanks. And I know Alamos, as I mentioned, is planning another training dates to be decided, and we're looking at doing another, we'll do another chronic disease self-management program in the fall, and we're talking with Susan Milligan, who I don't think is on the call, but Susan, as you know, is a master trainer in the chronic pain program, and so we are talking with her about sometime this fall doing a cross-training in the chronic pain program. So I will, and that one works like the cross-training for other curriculums. So if you are already a chronic disease self-management program leader, you can cross-train in the pain curriculum. So we will let you know more about that too. That's when we get requests for quite a bit.
Okay. Lindsay, this is Crystal at SecAHEC. May I jump in for just a moment?
Sure.
Can you, or any other organization who are master trainers, let us know how when organizations that have one master trainer, they've lost their second one to do a leader training, if they ask you to go be a master trainer so they can do one, do you guys have a normal charge you do for that?
We do, and I am not sure I know it off the top of my head. I want to say it's for a 4-day training. I think it's $750.
Does that include travel as well, or is that just the?
No, that's their time. So they would, and I can double check that for you, Crystal. But I believe it's $750 is what we pay them.
Okay.
And then for a 4-day, and then if they were traveling, that would be in addition.
Okay. This is Sue, and I've heard there's different rates. So maybe Connie, do you know anything different?
This was sort of third hand, but when I was looking at figuring out the budget for the 2 trainings that I put into this year's budget, which were your training in Grand Junction and Monica's training in Alamosa, when I talked with Lindsay McIntosh, she told me what they pay, and then I heard from Monica that she had gotten some quotes from other people that were what she thought were higher. So, if you're a business person, you may want to get more money than, you set, not everybody sets the same rates, but
okay.
What I had under the grant, we set as a set rate. So, obviously if you can get a quality person for less money, most of us would try to do that. But
this is Eve at SecAHEC. If you can just email those amounts once you confirm that they're what you thought they were. We'd like to just have that range.
Sure.
Because we want to be working alongside what other areas are doing. So if you can just email that to either Crystal or myself.
This is Connie. I can tell you what we paid, which I believe is what Lindsay just said, for under the grant. Thought I had this on my desk. I'm pretty sure I have it memorized, but if you give me just a second, I can find it.
While she's looking, I'll say that different master trainers do charge different amounts. And we've had people that have, for example, combined travel into the cost for doing a 4-day training. So
that's a good point.
They may give you something that is, but I also know that that there are some master trainers that just charge more because that's what they want to do, and that's, you know, that's fine. We tend to not use those master trainers as much because, you know, we have master trainers that are really good and qualified and willing to do things for a rate we feel comfortable paying. But I do think you can, you know, the other thing you can do is, just as an idea, is if you know you're going to need a master trainer at some point, you can offer to just host their travel but not pay their time in exchange for you volunteering to go do a training with them at some point in the future. So a little barter system, which is paying for travel but share the time. I know we've done that with some of our partners, and it's worked real well. So just a thought.
And Lindsay, you may be exactly right. I mean, that may be what Monica was referring to, because again, it was in a conversation with her, and I think she had heard a higher rate, but just what you said, that I think that could have included the travel costs, and then also some people charge more, and if they're able to get it, you know, then more power to them. What we paid under the grant was we paid only a portion of it, and then the local site came up with the balance. What we paid the full consultation fee for the instructors and our trainers. So for the CDSMP training, it was $750, and for the DSMP, it was $375. I just heard somebody click on or off. Are people still on the call?
I think so.
Okay. And then Monica.
Can you clarify? Did you say $375 for the CD?
DSMP, that's the shorter one.
Yes. Okay.
And then $750 for the CDSMP.
Okay. Thank you.
And then Monica was responsible. The AAA down there was responsible for all of their travel costs, so their mileage or rental car, their meals, and their hotel. And you know, in Grand Junction, Sue was planning to use some of their really nice facilities there as lodging. So, but in any case, the locals, that's how we were doing it for under the grant. So if you're paying for everything, then you know that's the expectation. People expect to be compensated for their travel. If you get somebody local, then that's even better because you don't have lodging, obviously. So.
Right. Okay, that's helpful information. And one of the other issues we are considering is how much lead time do we need when we're asked to assist, because with everybody's busy schedules, we need a little bit of lead time to plan so that we can work our assistance out into our calendars.
So are you talking about when you're setting up a training?
When we are asked to help with another location.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Yeah.
We need a little bit of lead time versus being asked, you know, a couple weeks or ahead of time, or I mean, because our calendars get booked pretty quickly.
Right.
So that's sort of a heads up to Sue Connery, who I'm sure is aware of that challenge when she's trying to recruit people for hers.
Absolutely.
And this is sort of a sidebar to this conversation, but I did put in, based on a conversation actually with Sue Connery, and then a couple others seem to have some interest and need for more training, leader training and trainer training, possibly in year 3. So I did put some money into our budget for that, because it seemed like it would make sense that if this is to be the last year of the grant, then we want to try to shore up the your availability of, or accessibility as to leaders and trainers. We don't want to, on the flip side, overtrain, and then I know that some of the challenges are investing for people to lead classes, and then they only want to do one a year, and it's kind of a large investment for somebody who's not that available. But in the rural areas, sometimes that's the way you have to do it. So on a future call, once we know if that budget has been approved, then we could have a little bit more dialogue about what the needs are, so that I can assess whether to keep them as is, or there's always the possibility of requesting some tweaks in the budget, depending on whether AOA would approve that. But in any case, at this point, I did put in some money for training new master trainers as well as leaders, and we'll see. We'll talk about that again down the road.
Connie, are there any dollars available at this point for additional scholarships out of year 2?
I think
no, we did 4 of them. I don't know whether there was any.
Oh, year 2? No, I think you spent all of those.
Okay.
It was 6. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay.
That would be in your contract. I believe those were all used up, because you had 2 at the beginning and then the 4 that were in the Tamondo training.
Right. I just didn't know whether there was, if there were other funds available that maybe some of the folks that have needs right now, whether there was any possibility of that, but it doesn't sound like there is. So
I can try to multitask here and see if I put anything in that budget rather than guessing at it, so I can try to do that while we're on the call.
Yeah, because for example, the Fidelity, I know we're
right, and that's under your contract, so we could actually talk about that separately, since it's, not to hide anything from anybody, but just to see where things stand with your deliverables and to what extent we can tweak things without having to get federal approval, et cetera.
Okay. So if folks are interested in some of those things, that's a, let us know if what you're thinking, because, and Connie, I'll reach out to you. So we'll.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else on training? Okay. Well, we also wanted to just leave the standard opening for talking about marketing, and we're at about 10 o'clock now, so I don't know whether anyone has anything they would like to share on marketing at this point, or any additional agenda items.
I don't have anything to offer this time around. If anybody has any either challenges or success stories, that would be great. I actually was kind of curious with the Center for African American Health. It's great to have a couple people on the phone. And when I looked at your website a little while ago, it looked like you had quite a few classes that you were offering or planning to offer, and I was just curious if how that's, what your marketing is, how you recruit people for your classes, and if you're having, it looked like you're offering a lot of classes, so I assumed you were having some good success getting people into those classes. Do either of you have anything to mention about, what's going well as far as your recruitment?
Well, the website recently had a refresh, and it's got some challenges as to how it operates now. So it allows us to show what classes we'd like to offer, but it doesn't have a user-friendly way for us to do it realistically. So that's why it's showing all of that available. But basically, we are saying that local classes are available on Mondays and Thursdays, And we've also done a mail-out campaign to direct mail marketing to 5 communities. We are doing that June through August. So we want to see what kind of in participation boost we get from doing that. And we are getting calls. People are calling. But the program that was primarily focused on our direct mail campaign was a diabetes prevention program. But we did mention diabetes self-management, so we're getting both types of calls.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. It was something and diabetes. What was the something?
The direct mail campaign was paid for by the diabetes prevention program. So that's the program that was focused on the direct mail. But we also mentioned our other 5 programs that we're running, diabetes self-management and our cardiovascular programs and senior programs. So we're getting calls on all the programs, and we're going to track that for June through August is when we're doing these direct mail campaigns.
Okay. And how did you identify the people that you sent the direct mail to, or the groups?
What was that now?
How did you determine who to? How did you decide who to send the direct mail pieces to?
We just wanted to send them. Now, most of us in our neighborhoods will get ValPack or we'll get money mailer. Mm-hmm. So we focused on the communities that we want to draw from, and those are the campaigns that we have going. They send them to 10,000 homes in each community.
Oh, okay, that's great. So did you buy like a mailing list in those areas?
No, we didn't have to do any of that. They just used their mailing list when you do ValPack.
You put your information in. So Glenn, you put your information into the ValPack.
Yes.
So that okay,
gotcha.
Great. So they got like the whole packet of different promotional materials from, and yours was one of the pieces they got, and then it went to the homes. Like
so for instance, we did get Park Hill, which is where we're located, and then they guarantee they send to 10,000 homes in Park Hill.
Great.
So that's how that works.
Do you have any idea what, I know it's different for everybody on the call, but what that cost you roughly? I know it was paid for through the grant.
For us to do 3 months on that ValPack, it was $700.
Oh, that's not bad. So you mean it's mailed out monthly, so you were in 3 different packets?
Yes. We decided instead of just doing 1 month to do 3 months.
Yeah,
so
that's a really good idea to get that repeat messaging out there.
Yeah, that was the 3 month cost.
Yeah. Well, that's an idea that I don't think anyone has mentioned on this call before, so thank you for sharing that.
Yes, and we'll know because we're not only doing the ValPack, but we're also doing the same ad in maybe 4 local newspapers at different times of the summer. Mm-hmm. And so we're taking, as we get phone calls, we're tracking where the people have heard about us. So that'll let us know which of our campaigns, whether it's radio, newspaper, or direct mail, which one really gives us more response.
That's great. And I'm sorry, there were 2 people on the phone, Tanika, and then the first person I didn't get the name. Was that you? Who are you?
This is Glenda.
Glenda. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I hope you can be on future calls. I'd love to. I'm sure others would be interested in hearing which of those approaches you find to be the most useful in terms of callbacks.
We'll be able to share that, I'm sure, probably in the October time frame when we wind it all down.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Linda.
In the meantime, I would love it if you would send us the classes that you, once you know when they're scheduled and the start dates, and the locations and times. We had gotten some information from Center for African American Health early on in the process about classes that were sort of hopefully going to be happening. But as you have, for us to put on our website, we need a firm start date and the location and the time. And as soon as you have that information, if you send it to us, we can get it on our Self-Management Colorado website as well. And then when we're looking for locations of classes to help fit in referrals we get from the different regional care collaboratives, or you know, from the VA or from Voc Rehab, then we can help get those folks into your classes too. So if you want to send that information to me, that would be terrific.
And who do we send it to?
If you send it to Lindsay at COA.
You might want to spell that out, or
yeah, I will. It's LYNNZY at COAW.org. And I also, I'm the person who sent you the invite to the call, so my email's on there too. There's a little link.
And what website did you say it gets posted to?
It gets posted to the collaborative's website, which is selfmanagementcolorado.org, and that's all one word.
Okay.
And that's where we are sending, that's where we send people to look at what's happening all over the state. And that's the website that we use, the information we use. If we get referrals through the website, we look at the classes on there, and that's how we help people find classes. So that would be very helpful.
Will do.
Yay.
Appreciate that.
Good. And if you have any of the mailings from us or any of the emails or anything, my name and contact information's on there, and so feel free to reach out at any point.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other marketing stuff? Any other additional agenda items? Okay then. Well, our next meeting is Thursday, July 3rd. I imagine this will not be a well-attended meeting since those are going to be off playing. It will be actually my only day in the office that week because I'm on vacation before and then I'm off on Friday. So, but Cheryl and Joni and I will be here. No, Joni won't be here. Cheryl and I will be here. And hopefully some of you guys will be here too. And just for those of you who are new on the call, what we do, because we were trying to include as many of our collaborative members as we could, we alternate between first Friday and first Thursday because there were just a direct, it was almost 50-50 split of people who couldn't do Friday and people who couldn't do Thursday. So Lindsay, for example, we get to talk to Lindsay every other month. But it's always really nice to hear the other Lindsay's voice. And I think she's gone already. But anyway, I think we're
here.
Oh, you're still
here.
here.
I couldn't get off mute fast enough to say
okay,
thank you.
Okay. Well, does anybody have anything else? Alrighty then. I'm sorry about the technical glitches at the beginning, but I know Joni will get us up, and these are always on our website. And for those of you who haven't been there, if you poke around and look at their partners, you'll see all of the meetings are up there, as well as the webinar on privacy and forms and anything else you might be interested in. So if you need anything during the month, feel free to reach out. And thank you again, everybody, for all your hard work and all your attention to all of these moving targets we work with every day. So thank you and enjoy the month. And I hope you come tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.